are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in the New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is the New York Knicks podcast, episode 542, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing good. There is so much happening at this point in the offseason. It is just like, it's hard to keep up with almost nothing happening.
Almost too much to talk about.
It's almost too much to talk about. Holy crap, there's so much. We have a jam-packed episode filled with almost no news whatsoever.
And, yep, that's about all we got. So we'll check in again with you guys next week. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for our subscribers on the only actual news we actually mentioned this episode, and we'll mention it briefly because we have something else we want to talk about. Ntilikina, the rumor is the Mavericks are going to sign him. Free agency has been over for a little while, or basically, in all intents and purposes, has been over. I don't know why it's the Dallas is going to sign him. Why can't the rumor at this point just be why have they just not signed him?
I think they have to cut somebody. I think they have 20 people on their training camp roster already.
What were they waiting for in the sense of he's been just out there talking to no one. Basically.
So they now have 5 ex-Knicks and the Knicks ex-coach?
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, they could make it all ex-Knicks lineup.
Wait, who's the coach?
Kid.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wasn't the Knicks ex-coach, but...
Oh, right. I feel like he was.
He was kind of the coach in the 12-13 season, but he actually was a player. But
That's right.
That's a lot of ex-Knicks on that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they got Bullock this offseason. They already had Burks and then Hardaway and Porzingis.
They screwed up, though, because they should have gotten Melo also. They should have gone all in on ex-Knicks.
The 2018 Knicks.
We're going to find out, the season starts, we're like, hey, where's Clyde? He's doing Mavericks games?
Yeah.
What do you think about Ntilikina possibly? And it may not be true, but it sounds like it probably is. What do you think about him going to the Mavericks?
Yeah, good for him. Happy for him.
Yeah. Do you think big role, small role?
I think
MVP?
about the same role as he had on the Knicks.
Injured. That you think his role is?
I saw somebody saying he's not going to root for the Knicks if he's starting for the Mavs when they play him, and I'm like, I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's he going to start over, Luka or Hardaway? I think they're safe.
You know what's going to happen early in the season. The Mavericks are going to win a game because Ntilikina is going to have a couple of great defensive plays at the end in the fourth quarter of the game, and everyone's going to be like, "Holy crap! How did the Knicks screw this one up?" New York Post will be like 9/11 could happen again, and the New York Post will be like, "What's going on with the Ntilikina thing?"
I mean, if he has a really good game, I'm just gonna not go on Twitter for about 2 weeks. Wait for everybody to settle down a little bit.
But here's the best part of it. Everyone will go, and I didn't mean to make sorry to make a 9/11 joke. So close to 20 years since 9/11 happened. But I didn't really want to. I was just making the point that New York media, sports media, will make the biggest deal ever out of this, and Twitter will go erupt, and then we'll be like, "Hey, didn't Ntilikina have a good game? 3 months? What happened? Oh, he barely played the rest of the season. Oh, this was a non-story, really? Yeah, it was non-story. The Mavericks have probably cut him already."
Also around the NBA, I don't want to do a whole thing on Ntilikina.
By the way, I have to say, I know there are a lot of fans. People are going to root for him. I am a bitter, horrible human being, so I just don't root for anyone that leaves the Knicks. But go on.
Hey guys, just saying hi to the people in the Twitch room. We do shows live on Twitch, so you could join the chat if you want to. It's twitch.tv.
I'm going to join the chat right now.
There you go.
I want to be able to chat with you online and through. Okay.
Twitch.tv/crumpled bacon if you want to join the chat. So, okay. John Wall is going to be traded
for Ben Simmons. Are you announcing it here? You're breaking the news. Ben Simmons for John Wall. I cannot believe this is happening.
I mean, he makes like $40 million, so it's going to be really hard to trade him. They said he's going to go to like training camp, but he's not going to play in the season, so he's just going to wait for a trade, which, I mean, it sounds like both sides are, cooperating and being comfortable with it, but are there a lot of John Wall trades out there?
I think actually, based on how much he's earning, you can trade the entire economy of Haiti for him.
Seriously, it's like
$40 million. It's crazy. Also, like, this is what's going to happen with a lot of these John Wall's had a lot of injuries. He, at one point, was a star player. Injuries just slowed him down. He looked, when he was healthy last year, he looked pretty good. Not like John Wall of old, but better than you expected.
He did look very good when he was healthy, but then he got injured again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, all these contracts are getting completely, not even getting, they're out of control.
Yeah.
And you're going to have more of these situations where it seems like he had a couple of injuries, now we're paying the guy $30 million or $20 million or $40. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that's because every team needs to have like a max guy. I'd almost rather, like, obviously in the NBA it's top heavy, so you need one of the best guys, but like having a whole team of like $10 to $12 million players seems like a safer bet than paying $50 million for one guy. But
you can't even do that. Like, the Nuggets just extended Aaron Gordon. 4 years, $92 million. That's $23 million a year. Gordon's a fine player. He wasn't even that good for the Nuggets last year. Right. And like when you're saying in your mind, you're like a bunch of like $10 to $12 million players. You're thinking of guys who are pretty good, maybe close to Gordon level. Those guys go for 20 now. Maybe you could have 4 or 5 guys that go for 20. That's what you're thinking at this point, because the contracts are out of control.
Yeah, it's tough now. It's really tough. And then you sign a guy for 4 years, and 6 months later, he could be like, I don't want to be here anymore. So, like, it's...
Yeah, right. So either 6 months later, he doesn't want to be here, so you need to have to trade him with his $100 million contract, or he has some injury where he's like, or just not quite as good as you thought he was, and suddenly you're paying this guy $35 million a year to kind of suck for you. And so I don't... As far as the owners, I don't give a shit about their wallets. I don't care how much they're paying. They could pay. I mean, they could pay John Wall $128 trillion for all I really care. What I care about for all these teams really is that it impacts. You have a finite ability with the cap to spend so much money, and it really just screws a team for many years of You can't be competitive if you're paying John Wall $40 million a year.
Right. So Zabategas just told us he is the 4th highest paid player in the league.
I mean, that's insane. But they're really, I'm not advocating John Wall not getting his money. I don't know what you can do about these contracts for being so high, but they really should have some kind of system where, what was it called a bunch of years ago when they did that, like, where they got rid of Chauncey Billups? The amnesty. There should be an amnesty provision where Houston can just say, we will pay Wall his full salary, we can amnesty him and not have it count against the cap. It would just work out better that way. It would make the league more competitive.
Yeah. I think
you got to be able to hit the reset button every once in a while.
They also need to do something about players just saying I'm switching teams. Like Ben Simmons has 4 years left, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to play for you anymore." It's like, excuse me, like
people just think, I need the extension. I'm just not going to use it with your team. Wait, I'm going to sign you, but I'm not going to actually use the extension with your team. But we're signing you. Yeah, contract doesn't really matter. You have to trade me now.
Right, and you have to trade me to where I want to go.
Yeah, where I want to go.
And by me saying this, you lost all leverage, so you're going to get 30 cents on the dollar.
Right. James Harden, the Nets have no cap space for you. Just make it work. Okay, we have to take back crap. By the way, if they had just traded him Harden for Ben Simmons, wouldn't Houston be better off?
Yeah. Yeah, they would.
Why didn't they do that?
Because I don't think Philly's trading Wall for Ben Simmons.
Wait, what? Oh, no, I'm just saying.
They could have had Harden, but like now they're not even going to get Wall. So like,
no. Yeah. Well, I think you don't think if they offered Wall for Ben Simmons, Houston wouldn't do that in a heartbeat?
I don't think Philly would.
Well, I don't think Philly would do that. I'm just saying, like, but Philly would have done Harden for. Philly would have been glad to get Harden back.
Yeah. Do you think Houston would What is
I
that?
think, well, the problem is also the Daryl Morey, right? I don't think Houston wanted to trade with Daryl Morey, but who's the GM of Philly. I'm just saying that trade would have made more sense. Now, basically, Philly's going to trade Ben Simmons, get pennies on the dollar, and Houston's going to get just a terrible. Either just have they're going to have to buy John Wall out. That's the only solution because they're not going to be able to trade him.
Yeah, but
How will you trade John Wall? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's also like we owe you $96 million. Like how low are you going to go on that?
I really think teams have to be like you're not gonna be able to piece no team. So John Wall on a Kemba-like contract, sure, sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
But on the contract he's getting right now, who's gonna do it?
I saw an article that said the Knicks need to hold back on trading for John Wall. I'm like, who are they trading for John Wall? Like Randall? Like that doesn't make sense.
Well, we got our point guards. We got Rose. We got Wall.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, did that person know anything
Not Wall,
about
I mean,
like salaries and because like you would have to include Randall and Kemba and Fournier probably just to get the salaries to match. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
They probably just pre-produced the article they wrote last year.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's also I understand. I get we all want respect. We've been a joke for a long time. We're finally turning it around. And also I'm gonna say this now. We're not previewing it to the team, but this for many fans will be the greatest season they've lived through. If you're a young fan, if you basically started watching basketball 2002 and beyond, I think this will be the best season you're going to see.
Yeah.
Rivaling the 12-13 season.
Yeah, but if you were born in 2002, you might not have even.
I meant even started watching basketball. If you just missed the 90s Knicks, but also the 12-13 team got. I think this is going to be a very.
Did you just predict a 55-win season?
No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say this team is going to be like the 12-13 team fell apart really fast. We're building sustainability. I think it's going to be fine. Outside the 12-13 season, this is going to be the best year in the last 20 years.
Zapatego says, what was worse, the KP trade situation or the Ben Simmons situation?
Well, you know what? The Knicks, looking back on it, the Knicks pulled the trigger before KP turned out to be a disaster.
Yeah, and it wasn't a prolonged situation. I think they could have actually held on longer and probably got a better deal, talked to more teams. The Knicks messed up that situation. The Ben Simmons situation is just a complete mess, and it's going to go into the season because there's not a lot of teams that want him. There's not a lot of good fits. I think the Ben Simmons situation is much worse. Also, KP didn't pass up an open dunk in a series-clinching playoff game.
It's also the problem really is for Philly is the best type of offer they'll get is a John Wall type player. You're not going to get like someone that's just like it's just not worth it. They're overpriced contract. Like most players that are going to be real, like who are you going to trade for Ben Simmons? I think a lot of teams. I mean, I think Ben Simmons has. I think people are sometimes they overvalue guys. I think they're undervaluing him too much. He's still a guy I think you can build around, but I think his trade value has fallen through the floor.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 16, 8, and 8, which is great. But I think mentally a lot of teams don't trust him, and basketball is just as much mental as it is skill-wise, physical skill.
Here's I'm gonna throw out a trade for you. How about Towns for Simmons?
Interesting. I mean, are you?
I'm not sure how you fit Towns and Embiid. I mean, you have quite the twin towers there. But my mind, Minnesota keeps sucking every year. You need somehow to turn this around. Towns plays no defense. If you turned him into a guy who can really run your offense and maybe doesn't need to shoot, you have a lot there in Minnesota.
I would think.
And play some real defense.
I feel like Wiggins would be a better swap.
You're going to get Wiggins back? Oh, you mean, sorry for Minnesota. You mean Wiggins? Oh, you mean Wiggins
for Simmons?
Yeah. That'd be an interesting one also. I mean, Wiggins has looked a lot better last year. Do you think Golden State wants to rebuild? Because like, hey, we built on shooting last year. Last time we won a title. Now we want a guy who just can't shoot to play. How do you apply Ben Simmons next to Draymond Green? Unless you're trading Green also.
I mean, that might be a little tough. I mean, Green, at one point he could shoot, right?
It's been years. He wasn't,
Yeah.
and he wasn't that great of a shooter even in his heyday. I mean, he does a lot. He's getting a little bit worse, getting a little older. Maybe you could turn Simmons into your Green.
Yeah. Zapatero says, hot take, Ben is a taller Frank.
I also Frank Ben is what Frank stands on Twitter think he is.
Yeah.
Simmons
Corb says Simmons for McCollum would be good for both teams.
Simmons for
McCollum.
CJ?
Yeah.
That would be interesting also. I mean, Portland. So yeah, maybe the situation is not quite as bad because there are reasonable. You should be able to get a very good player or close to a star back from him, I guess.
And Nomad says thoughts on Ben Simmons for Pascal Siakam. Both have the same contracts. Pascal shot 38% from three before last season and can play okay defense. And Ben Simmons can get rebuilt by the Raptors coaching staff.
That would be interesting also. I guess the more you talk about it, the more Simmons has such upside still, even though he can't shoot. You just got to find the right team for him. Would you trade Randall for Simmons?
Would I trade Randall for Simmons? Absolutely not.
I would consider it. I think Simmons Randall was great, and I'm not trading him, so we're not doing this. But he's just an interesting guy to build around.
Interesting as in way worse?
No, I feel like there's a lot of upside building around a guy like Simmons if he doesn't need to shoot in that team. But it's also hard to build around a guy who can't shoot. I don't know.
I would much rather Randall. I don't think it's even close. Not that I'm saying Simmons is bad. I just think Randall's way better.
Not in the playoffs.
He had one bad playoff series. We'll see how he is this year. I feel like the thing is, Randall had a bad playoff series, and he's like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get better. Simmons has a bad playoff series, and he's like, I don't want to be in this state anymore.
No, you're right. So I agree. I'm not trading Randall for him. And Simmons also, in fairness to him, he was pissed off that Philly kept dangling him in trades, like the Harden trade.
Yeah, but comments like it's not my job to increase my trade value is not a good look.
Would OKC Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for? Do you think OKC would say yes?
No.
Yeah. Timberwolves. I feel like I'm trying to look at. Sacramento. And I obviously have to add some context to this, but De'Aaron Fox.
I don't think Sacramento does it. I think they could get a Buddy Hield, but I don't think they can get a Fox.
Hield's not on that team anymore, is he? Or is he still on that team?
Sacramento?
Where is Hield now? Or maybe he is.
They got Halliburton, so Hield is like, what the hell? So.
What about who do the Pelicans have to trade for him?
Not much. They could do. What's his face? Irving.
Steve Adams.
Steve Adams. Or
they already trade. I don't remember who's on who anymore. Or did they trade him already? They traded Adams already, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew said Simmons bailed on playing for Australia at the Olympics and then went and watched tennis at Wimbledon instead. So, he doesn't seem to be determined to get better every season.
I'm sure he works hard, but okay. How's this one for you? Trade him. The Bulls are already kind of going all in on this roster. They have Zach LaVine for Ben Simmons.
No, they already have Vooch.
Vooch can shoot. I don't know what are you talking about. Vooch, they don't have to play. They don't play the same position.
I think Simmons has to play the 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah, he can play the 4 next to Vooch. Vooch can score. Simmons can play defense. So Simmons can run your offense.
I think you were thinking of Brandon Ingram on the Pelicans.
Oh, Ingram. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. You think you can have him next to Zion? Simmons next to Zion?
Yeah, I think they were playing Zion at the 4 anyway. Play Simmons at the 5, but then you got Valanciunas. I don't know. Then you trade Valanciunas, I guess.
Yeah, there aren't that many great trades for. I mean, the CJ McCollum one I think is interesting because Portland's kind of just stuck in no man's land right now. Okay, let's go to. You want to go to our bit or what we plan to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so our basic plan for this episode is we wanted to do, and this is kind of pulling from not Ben Simmons, but
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons, he always does the over unders. The over unders have been released for the NBA.
Well, he guesses the over unders, which I don't even understand.
What do you mean he guesses the over unders?
Like, doesn't he do that with football? He'll be like plus 3.5, and like I don't even understand what's happening with that.
No, he takes what we're doing basically. He takes there's some betting like I'm going to take from Bet Online, but Vegas or something else puts out the win totals. Like Brooklyn is 55.5 wins, and we're going to say whether they're going to be above or below that.
Okay,
we'll go through all 30 teams.
Okay.
So that Ben Simmons always does a show for the season where he goes through every team, and we're going to do the same thing because it's the off season and there's not much to talk about. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to also mention. We're going to talk about what the team did and then talk about the plus minus.
Okay.
Should I say the number of wins first or say the transactions? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is the Hawks. The Hawks are 46 and a half wins. Their big moves are they're bringing back the same team that made a great run last year. They brought in Dieng. They got Delon Wright via trade. They got a couple of draft picks later. They lost Chris Dunn. They didn't do much to the roster. I'm looking at this roster.
Yeah,
they did not do much. It's pretty much the exact same roster. Now it's a normal season, 82 games. It's 82 games, right, this season? Going back to normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the Hawks are a 46 and a half win? What do you think? Over, under? How good are the Hawks going to be?
Wow, we're already starting on a tough one.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just going alphabetically.
Andrew said 12 wins because the league changed the rules to stop Trey from getting fouls.
That is going to make a difference.
It is.
I also think Trey was mostly healthy last year with a little bit of injury. He'll be injured every year. He'll miss some games. Not like
Hunter will be back. So
Hunter will be back, coming off a major injury.
I'm gonna go over.
How high do you think it's gonna go?
Not much, like 48.
Okay. I am gonna go under. I think the Hawks are going to be good still, and they're still gonna be, but I think that's a little high. I'm gonna say like a game under at 45.
Okay.
The Celtics. I'll tell you the moves they made, then I'll tell you the wins. So the Celtics, they added Enes Kanter. They got a big. They need a big.
Again.
They also added Dennis Schroeder in one of the Schroeder moves of free agency. Schroeder wanted $100 million. The Celtics gave him $5 million, and he said, "Fine, I will take it." They also got Hernan Gomez's brother, Juancho.
I just want to hear you try and say it.
Well, they got Hernan Gomez's brother. And they got Josh Richardson, which is not a bad move, actually. I thought he'd have a better season for the Mavericks. He was not so good for the Mavericks, but big move. The guys they lost, where the big deal is they lost Kemba, which seemed like a big deal, or a big deal for the Knicks at least. They lost Tristan Thompson. They lost Chris Dunn. And the biggest name of all, even bigger than Kemba Walker, they lost Taco Fall.
They lost Fournier, too.
They lost. Yes, Fournier. What did I not say Fournier? The other big Nick. Okay. The Celtics on here are... How many wins do you think they're going to be at before I even say the plus minus?
I think they're going to get 46.
On the nose! 46 and a half. Over under here.
So I guess that's under.
So you're going to say under. Okay. I'm going to say the Celtics are definitely under. I think they are... I mean, they have two All-Stars in the team, but... they're going to struggle. They're going to be a 43, 44. I mean, not crazy lower, but they're not going to be a 50-win team.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. The Brooklyn Nets. They added LaMarcus Aldridge, who apparently is no longer has heart back out of retirement. They added a guy named David Duke Jr., which I assume is the son of the clan leader. They added Patty Mills, Paul Millsap, which I thought was a pretty interesting move. They drafted some guys. They lost no one. They lost Spencer Dinwiddie. They lost DeAndre Jordan, which was, I don't know if that's really a loss. They lost Shemet. I think they lost Mike James from free agency. Anyway, they're mostly the same exact team with Millsap. How many wins do you think they're going to have? They have, Matt.
60.
55. 55 and a half. You betting the over or the under?
Over.
I feel like they're too good not to bet the over. Because I feel like if one of those three are healthy, they have a good chance any night.
That's the thing. I would say under because of injuries, but I said that last year, and they won all the games without like ever playing their big three. So I guess I have to go over again.
I'm going to assume they played what together, 6 games before the playoffs. I'm going to assume they're going to play.
Yeah, I think it was 7, but it was they played like the very last game of the season together.
So you have to assume they're going to play more games together. And I don't know, they're a well-coached team. They find ways to win. I think they're going to find more ways to win. And at some point, also after the trade deadline, it's going to be one or two other guys who were bought out, who are pretty good players that are joining the team because that's just how it works.
Because they need more help.
Okay, the Charlotte Hornets. They added Kelly Oubre, who was rumored at one point to go to the Knicks, but did not, thankfully. They drafted James Bouknight, whatever his name is, who was also rumored to go to the Knicks, but went 19th overall. They got Kai Jones, who the Knicks traded at draft night, who apparently everyone's convinced will be a star. They lost Devontae Graham, Malik Monk, Cody Zeller, and Bismack Biyombo. So overall, what do you think? Did they improve the roster, make it worse?
I'd say it's slight improvement.
Yeah, and you got LaMelo Ball, who's going to probably be better in year 2. How many wins do you think they're going to have, Matt?
41.
38 and a half. What do you think? Over, under?
I mean, if I'm picking 41, then I have to say over.
Got to say over. It's got to be over. LaMelo looks like he's going to be pretty good. I think they get better this year. I think they're over 500. Hard to argue that one. Okay, the Chicago Bulls, who have just gone crazy with their roster. Would you say the Bulls have gone the crazy with their roster?
They went all in.
Okay. Anyway, the big moves here are they got Lonzo Ball, they got DeMar DeRozan. Anyone else big? Those two were pretty good. They got Derek Jones from the Blazers. Those some big ass moves. They lost Marketing. They lost Thaddeus Young, who does matter. Thaddeus Young is a pretty good player. But they went kind of all in with this roster. How many wins do you think?
It's a weird mismatch of. I said mismatch by mistake, but maybe I'll just stick with that. Yeah, it's a weird collection of players. They got Vucevic like at the trade deadline last season.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna say like 39. They feel like a team that looks good on paper, and it's just not gonna work out.
Okay. The numbers have them at BetOnline has them at 42.5. I'm with Jay on this. I will bet the under. I think the Bulls offense is going to be awesome. I think the defense is going to be pretty lame unless Patrick Williams becomes a goddamn star. I think they've gone all in on a roster that's just not going to be very good.
Yeah. Zapatego said we should go back at the end of the season on this episode and see how we did. It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. The Cavaliers got marketing. They got Ricky Rubio. They got Evan Mobley, 3rd overall draft pick. They are rebuilding. They lost Larry Nance, Torian Prince. He should be better. Kevin Love may or may not play for this team this year because, by the way, Kevin Love there's no way.
Isn't Mobley a big man?
Mobley's a big man. Do you think not Kevin Love for Ben Simmons because Philly's not doing that, but Kevin Love for John Wall. Any chance Houston says yes?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. No,
Both majorly injury prone.
I think Love is guaranteed, and Wall has a player option.
If he's got a player option, it's guaranteed.
It's true.
It doesn't really matter. Okay, anyway, Cleveland, how many wins?
So you think Mobley is a good fit with Love, Drummond, and the center they got from the Nets?
I'm going to say Drummond does not matter. He will play much. He won't play that much. If they don't cut him, did they brought him back?
I think so. He really went from like borderline max to like year by year minimum really quickly.
Yeah, really went down.
So I'm going to say 22.
But anyway, they're going to focus on Mobley was the third pick in the draft. They're going all in on Mobley's development, and they're not going to let guys like Kevin Love get in his way. So I'm not even concerned at all that Kevin Love will interfere with his playing time. By the way, Drummond will definitely not interfere. Drummond is on the Sixers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no reason that you would know that. Anyway, Cavaliers, 26.5 wins, over or under?
Under. By a little, like 25.
They still got what is it? Sex? Not just sex. What do they call it? Sex.
Land.
Who's the other guy?
Garland.
Sex Land. Garland. Got a lot of shooting. Mobley's Mobley's very talented. They're gonna be under, right? They're gonna still be garbage.
25.
Okay. The Dallas Mavericks. They added every Knick that's ever played for the team. Possibly Ntilikina. They got Reggie Bullock. They lost Josh Richardson. They still have KP and the 18 games to play next season. What do you think? How many wins for the Mavericks? The Mavericks, obviously, they have a potential MVP candidate on that team with Luka. How many wins?
45.
47.5. You going over? You going under?
Going under just because Luka's awesome, but he's not got a lot around him. He doesn't.
No. I don't know if they're necessarily making the roster that much better around him. There's some issues there. And
I think
KP
they're not. I'm gonna be bold and say they're not making the roster better around him.
They're going to be a playoff team. But yes, you're right. They're not. And I think Reggie Bullock, he looked great for the Knicks. And I know you're having a guy that's going to be able to pass to him a lot and set him up. I think last year would be peak Reggie Bullock. He's going to look worse.
Yeah.
They did bring back Timmy Hardaway, so that's something.
Good for them.
Good for them. Denver Nuggets. When is what's his name coming back?
Murray's going to he's going to miss like 3/4 of the season, I believe.
Okay. So that is the biggest loss. They added Jeff Green, who does help. They lost Paul Millsap. What do you think? How many wins for the Nuggets? Nuggets are still a very, very good team. Have an MVP on their team.
I feel like I'm going to have to go under because of Murray being out most of the season. I feel like the odds are made with Murray there. So
No, this is Bet Online. I mean, they're actually taking bets on this shit.
Okay.
This is not like this is. They have people who are professionals doing this stuff.
Okay.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Or you want to guess first?
I'm going to say they're still going to get a lot of wins just because Jokic is so good.
Jokic is so good.
Porter Jr. They still have. I'm going to
Porter
say.
Jr.'s. Yeah.
I'm going to say they're going to get like 47 wins.
47.5 is the over/under.
Look at that.
I'm going over. I'm going to say the Nuggets are probably going to still win 50 games. I'm going to go over in this. You're going under?
I got to go with whatever I say. So, yeah, under.
Okay. Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, they added Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick in the draft. No one else matters. They also added Kelly Olynyk. They didn't add much. It was really, and they didn't really lose much. It's Cade Cunningham. How many wins? They also lost Dennis Smith Jr. But how many wins do you think they're going to say for Detroit? And their roster, outside of Cade Cunningham, kind of sucks.
I'm going to say 24.
The answer here is 25.5. I am with you in going under on this.
Yeah, they're going to be really bad.
I mean, also, You never know. The one thing you don't know is Cunningham. If Cunningham comes in the league and is really a game changer, 30, 35, they could go way over. It always depends on how good these guys really are. In the first season, it's hard to be that good.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors added Iguodala, Otto Porter Jr., which helps. They did not add that much. They got the 7th overall pick in Jonathan Kuminga. They lost Kelly Oubre. What do you think? And they had the number 2 pick overall last year, who's getting better. Who's the center they got again?
Weissman.
Golden State, how many wins?
And Clay will be back probably early December.
I'm going to also predict Clay does not come back next season.
The whole season? He's going to miss 3 in a row?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to predict. I hope Clay. So I really hope Clay comes back. He's coming with a major injury. Maybe he comes back briefly. I feel like just the major injury. And maybe you're right. He's supposed to come back in December. I just feel like it's one of those things where he's just going to struggle to ever come back.
I'm going to go 46.
They have him at 48.5. I would say you're going to put like locks on these things. I'm going to go with lock Golden State under.
Okay.
There's no way they're winning 48.5. I think they're going to have too many issues. And I just don't put a lot of faith in Clay's health.
Yeah, I mean, Steph is still amazing, but like Draymond Green is clearly on the downside, and we don't know how good Weissman's going to be yet.
And we're going to rely on Wiggins. Okay. The Houston Rockets. They have added.
Under.
What?
Under.
They've added Jalen Green, a number 2 pick in the draft,
Yep.
who is quite awesome.
It's shocking that a team that lost a multi-time All-Star moved up significantly in the draft. That's never happened before.
Never happened before. They also lost John Wall. It just hasn't happened yet. They did not add. I mean, no one else really matters in this team who they lost or gained. How many wins do you think for the Rockets?
21.
26.5.
Way under.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to say over on this.
Why?
Slightly over.
Why?
They had it. Their team isn't that terrible.
Is it?
Let me see what they. Well, first of all, John Wall will probably. Do you think John Wall will actually play any games or not?
No, they already agreed that he won't.
I mean, what kind of crap is that? Also,
No.
It's just like what the.
I mean, at least both sides are agreeing. It's not just like one, like John Wall just saying I'm not going to play. Like the team is like totally cool with it.
Yeah. So Christian Wood, who's pretty darn good. Kevin Porter Jr., who can like light it up every once in a while. He's getting better. He's a young player getting better.
That's it.
Yeah, they got Eric Gordon also, who's probably like, why am I still here? Jalen Green is pretty. I think. I mean, this is not a high number of wins. I think the Rockets will surprise you and win 27. Okay, the Pacers. The Pacers added Torrey Craig. They added the 13th overall pick in Chris Duarte, another guy the Knicks wanted. They lost Doug McDermott and Aaron Holiday. Pacers also, they should be getting back, what's his name? And I hate referring to everyone as what's his name. The guy, who are they getting back? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
TJ Warren.
TJ Warren, who like got
solid scorer. He's a very good offensive player.
Yeah. No, the guy who like gets traded every season, even though he puts up 20 points a game, like for his career. It's weird. I'm gonna say.
You remember in the bubble, he had like these amazing games.
Yeah.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah.
But they're kind of a team that was stuck in a little bit of purgatory here.
Yeah. 45.
They're at 42.5.
Slightly over. Yeah.
If it was 42, I'd call it a push. I'm going to go slightly under. Okay. Next up, we got the L.A. Clippers. They added Justice Winslow, who I wanted if this was the 2015 draft. They also added Eric Bledsoe.
I'm glad the Knicks haven't drafted most of the players you've wanted in the draft. We would have had like him and Cauley Stein. Like
Well, okay. In fairness, those wouldn't have even worked out that poorly because whatever we would have had Michael Porter
Yes, that is
Jr.
true. That is true.
There are other guys I wanted also. Okay. We would have had Tyler Halliburton. Okay. Anyway, they got Keon Johnson, also a guy the Knicks traded away at the 21st pick. They lost Patrick Beverly, Yogi Ferrell. Biggest thing they've lost is I don't think Kawhi is playing next year. Is he out for the whole season?
Pretty much. If he comes back, he'll be back like the very last month of the season.
Can't count on him for regular season wins. Maybe some playoff wins. How many wins do you think that the Clippers have? They have the Clippers at?
They still got a pretty decent team. I'm going to say 45.
They had it at 44.5. I'm going with Jay and going over.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at this, Jay. Do you want to get a job with Bet Online? I know you have a new job, but Bet Online might be able to use you. The Lakers, they added Carmelo Anthony. They added Trevor Ariza. They added Way Ellington. They added Dwight Howard and everyone else in the league that was over the hill. They also added Kendrick Nunn, who's interesting, Rajon Rondo, Malik Monk, and of course they added Russell Westbrook. The Lakers are interesting. They lost Draymond Green. They lost Marc Gasol. They lost a bunch of other guys. They lost Dennis Schroeder, who does actually matter.
Draymond Green.
What did I say? Did I say Draymond Green?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, what did I mean to say?
I have no idea.
Why did I say?
Danny Green?
No, I don't.
I don't think they had Danny Green to lose.
They
so
did not have Danny Green.
I don't know.
I'm glad
you just short circuited.
They lost Markieff Morris, Dennis Schroeder. That's what I meant to say. Lost Dennis Schroeder. I don't know why I said. So the Lakers generally they're better than last year, right?
Yeah, they're gonna.
And I like some of these guys they got back. I like them getting Dwight Howard back. Malik Monk could look really interesting.
I'm gonna say 58.
The only factor I can't counting against them is how healthy their LeBron will be and Anthony Davis.
Yep.
The Lakers are listed at 52.5. You're going over, I guess.
Yeah, that seems
Hard not to go over on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go over. You know what's better, even to write this stuff down? Why don't we just go place these bets, Jay? Can we go to Bet Online and make all these bets, Jay?
Sure. Yeah, you go first.
Okay. The Grizzlies. They added Steven Adams. That answers that question. They added Chris Dunn. They added Daniel Otero. They added 10th overall pick Zaire Williams. They lost Bledsoe, Beverly, Gasol, Rondo, Justice Winslow.
43.
43 for the Grizzlies. You're basically counting how good would Ja be this year. They also have back Jaren Jackson for the full season. You're saying 43 wins for them.
Mm-hmm.
41.5 is what Bet Online has. I'm going to go under on them.
I mean, 41.5 is a brilliant move because they always hover around 500, like every season. Every
year. I mean, in theory, Josh should be able to elevate them and Jaren Jackson back for the full season. I'm going under still. The Miami Heat. They have added Markieff Morris, PJ Tucker. But the big one they've added was Kyle Lowry. Huge move. They lost Goran Dragic. So do you think Lowry is an upgrade over Dragic, right? But is it that big of an upgrade that it makes that big of a difference? The Dragic was a pretty good player for them.
Yeah, I don't think that's huge. People are going nuts. I don't think that's huge. I would say 46.
46 for the Heat. The Heat are going to be good. 48.5. So last year, the Knicks, how many games did the Knicks win?
I'm all thrown off because it was a shorter season. So
Because the other time, I'm trying to remember because the Heat won around the same. I'm trying to remember how many they won in this.
Was it 38?
So last year the Knicks won 41.
41.
The Heat won 40. And now you have an extra 10 games to play. Will they go over 40? I'm going under on the Heat.
Yeah.
Probably like 47. Like just under, but they're going under.
Yep.
The Milwaukee Bucks. I think they had a successful season. Good season. What do you think?
I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, not not bad. I mean, like I agree they could have done better. I mean, they could have won the title in less games. uh, so they made their big moves were to keep the roster pretty much exactly the same. They added Grayson Allen. They added George Hill. They didn't, or George Hill was he already on the roster? I might lose my mind. Or no, he was on.
So they're going to be over 50. I would say.
I'm going to say without looking, I'm going to say 55.
I'm going to say 54.
They are going to be one of the best teams in the NBA. 54 and a half is where they have them. Do you think basically a little hangover from winning a title, they come there a step slow and don't win quite as many games? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, also like Giannis might not play like every single game again. So, yeah, I'm going to say under, but like barely.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite. I mean, I think they're going to be a force to reckon with, but I don't think they're coming out quite as hungry. The Timberwolves, who are generally horrible.
Under, whatever it is, it's under.
They did not have their 2021 draft pick. They added no one that goddamn matters besides me, Patrick Beverly. They lost Ricky Rubio. They lost Jared Culver. They are, how many wins do you think for the
22.
Timberwolves? They are scrolling to the bottom of the list. They are 33 and a half.
Absolutely not. They're not even going to sniff that. Nope.
They did have a rookie of the year who is coming back basically to only get better.
Great. Under.
Yeah, I'm going under. Okay. The New Orleans Pelicans.
Under.
They had they do have one of the best young players in the NBA in Zion, who will play 50 games. They have
50. Wow, that is bold.
They got Devontae Graham. They got
Ingram.
Saransky. They Trey Murphy in the draft. They lost Lonzo. They lost Bledsoe. They lost Steven Adams. Steven Adams, I feel like losing Steven Adams helps. Nothing against Adams, but like I don't think you want him playing next to Lonzo and Ingram. So I think losing Adams is only helpful.
34.
34. I'm going to guess without even looking, it's at 42. But let's see. 39 and a half.
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta go over.
Wow. Okay. I don't like
They have
it.
too much talent not to get to 500.
I think they have like no backcourt.
And they also didn't they get a new coach?
Yeah. Always a
They
good
don't
sign.
got. What do you say?
Always a good sign. Changing coaches right away.
Well, who was the coach last season? Wasn't it Stan Van Gundy, or am I losing my mind?
It could have been. It could have been. Jay Player
so-
wants to know what happened to the Mets.
Wait, who was the coach before this? Was it? Am I forgetting who it was? It wasn't Dan Van Gundy.
I don't know. Who cares?
I care, Jay. I want to give people real facts in the show,
If
and I'm going to spend.
if
Can you
our
just help
listeners
me?
are coming here for facts, then they've found the wrong show.
I forget who the coach is. They got Willie Green now. Anyway, the coach last year was it Monty Williams?
Sure.
Whatever.
I thought
Anyway,
wasn't that Phoenix?
yeah, it was Phoenix. Why? I don't know why I thought it was Stan Van Gundy, but now I can't really remember.
Okay.
Let me look this up. Yeah, wasn't it Stan Van Gundy?
I think so. I think so.
Anyway, you couldn't get the 40. You couldn't get the 500 with Zion. Like, I think they did the least with the most talent in the NBA last year. Anyway, they're going to be over. Okay, next team. Try to not to keep the show. The New York Knicks. They added Dwayne Bacon and not much else. Oh wait. They added Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. They added in the draft future Hall of Famers Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes. They also added future Defensive Player of the Year Jericho Sims and European stash Jokic, who's some guy who's going to be there until I can figure out how to pronounce Rokas Jokic. They lost Reggie Bullock. They lost Alfred Payton. They lost Norvell Pell. They lost Frank Ntilikina, Theo Pinson, Jared Harper. How many wins do you think we're at? Last year we won 41.
Yeah. So
They brought back Derrick Rose.
47.
47. I'm going to say BetOnline has us at 44. The Knicks are at 42 and a half.
That seems low.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like
Can we
barely
not-
above 500 after.
How do we actually make this bet? By the way, how do you actually? How do you? I am not. I know in New York it's not allowed. You're not. It's not legal to. Do we have to go to New Jersey to make this bet?
I think so. I mean, they were 10 games above 500 last season, and they got better, and now they think they're going to be barely above 500.
Is Bry if they can make bets in Connecticut? Can we just send Bry the money to make the bet for us?
Yeah, let's contact him after the show
Because I feel like this is something 42 and a half. Knicks are winning more than 42 and a half games.
lock of the week.
Lock of the century. OKC. They added, they got SGA back, which is gigantic. They got the 6th overall pick in Josh Giddey and Trey Mann, 18th overall. They got Derek Favors. They didn't lose a whole lot. They lost, they had Kemba for half a second. Doesn't really count. What do you think, OKC? How many wins?
26.
22 and a half.
Okay, I guess I'll go over, but I don't know. Why.
It's hard to go under 22 and a half.
I know.
When you also and SGA is an all-star level talent. I go over, but team's going to be terrible. Orlando Magic. Orlando emptied their roster at the trade deadline and said, screw it. They got Jalen Suggs, who's pretty damn awesome at number 5. They got Franz Wagner at 8th overall. So they're going big on the young guys. They also added Robin Lopez, Etuan Moore. They lost Dwayne Bacon and Otto Porter. Some interesting moves. The Magic likely will be garbage next year, but how many wins do you think?
27.
I was going to say 26. 23 and a half. I went over OKC. I might have to go under for Orlando.
I mean, I guess I'll go over, but I don't feel great about it.
Can't feel great about that one. The 76ers. They've lost likely Ben Simmons. They have added not much besides Andre Drummond. And
See, this one's tough because you don't know what their team's going to look like, but I'm going to say 46.
How many wins?
46.
40. I'm going to say whatever the number is when I look it up, I'm going under. I am going way under. They're going to be good. And Philly, they have them at. Oh, come on. This is. So, what were the locks so far? Is it the Knicks over? What was my other lock?
Lakers?
Yeah, Lakers were a lock. Were the Lakers a lock?
I think
Whatever.
Lakers were a lot, but over, yeah.
This is a lock. This is the. This may be outside of the Knicks. Is maybe the biggest lock of the show. The Sixers, 51 and a half.
Yeah, I got to say under.
Yeah, I am going to say under because the Simmons situation is not looking great. The Phoenix Suns, they added Alfred Payton, which is usually minus a few wins. They added JaVale McGee. They lost Landry Shamet, whatever. They added Langston Galloway in free agency, or they lost him. They lost him, sorry. They didn't do much to the roster. They're coming off a season where they insanely overperformed. How many wins do you think they're at? And what would you say? Over under. They got Chris Paul back also. It's important.
Right. I would say 49.
I say they're going to be at 55, and I'm going to say they're under. They are at 51 and a half. Might be over.
That's fair.
They have a very good roster. The team,
yeah,
the team
I
got
might
better.
have undersold them.
Okay. The Trailblazers. They are apparently going to acquire Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum, so that'll make a difference. They lost Carmelo Anthony. They lost Derek Jones. They lost Enes Kanter. They added Larry Nance, Ben McLemore, Cody Zeller. Not much else. Trailblazers are kind of stuck in neutral. I'm going to. What do you think, Trailblazers?
45.
45 and maybe slightly over, my guess. They are at 43 and a half. Probably over.
I just took what I think they're going to do and added a few because every year they do better in the regular season than I think. And,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then lose in the playoffs. So.
The Sacramento Kings. They added Alex Len, Tristan Thompson. Davion Mitchell in the 9th overall pick. They lost other guys that don't really matter, including a guy named Kyle Guy. Sacramento Kings kind of suck every season. And I've been the last couple seasons saying the Kings are finally going to have a breakout season and they're going to overperform. I'm going under, and I'm going to just say they're going to be a mediocre 34-win team this season.
I'll go 36.
Okay. And according to Bet Online, we have them at 36.5.
Okay.
So I'm going to go slightly under, and Jay's going to go slightly under as well.
I did the opposite of what I did with Portland. I always think Sacramento was going to be better, so I took a few games off of what I thought.
Here's a team that's going to be better than always better than you expect, the Spurs.
Yeah.
They added Zach Collins, who will probably actually look good on their team. They added Doug McDermott. They added Thaddeus Young. They got the 12th overall pick in Josh Primo, another guy the Knicks wanted. They lost DeMar DeRozan, which is kind of a big deal. They lost Rudy Gay. They lost Trey Lyles. Not much else. Patty Mills was kind of a big deal. Their roster, probably a little worse than last season. They overperformed last year. How many wins did the Spurs?
36.
I'm going to say the prediction is probably be like 46. And I don't know what I do. The Spurs are at, oh, wow. 28.5.
Okay.
Can we tell Bry to make the over bet on that one also?
Yeah, seriously.
They're definitely going over 28.5. They're just too well coached to lose that many games.
Yeah, their roster on paper doesn't look great, but they always overperform what their roster looks like.
Unless Tim Duncan is the number one pick in the draft, they're not going these few wins.
Yeah.
There's no way. The Toronto Raptor, I feel like we can make some money here, Jay.
Yeah.
I feel like we can make more money than we're going to make on Dogecoin, Jay. The Toronto Raptors, just put some money in Dogecoin. It's a good idea. The Toronto Raptors, they added Goran Dragic. I guess they basically the swap for Kyle Lowry, and they got the 4th overall pick in Scotty Barnes, and they lost Kyle Lowry. The Raptors always manage to turn guys that aren't that great into better players. I'm going to guess 36 wins. What are you guys guessing here?
38.
Okay. The Raptors are at 36.5. I'll go slightly over.
Yeah, over, but I don't feel great about it.
Okay. What do you feel great? I feel great about the Knicks over. That's what I feel great about.
Definitely.
The Utah Jazz. They added Rudy Gay. They added Hassan Whiteside. Really doesn't matter. They added not much. Jazz in neutral. They just need to figure out how they can be this good on defense and suck in the playoffs. Or suck when it actually matters in the playoffs. What do you think, Jazz? I'm going to probably say they're at like 53 wins. What are you going to guess?
They're a team. They're another team where I look at their roster. I'm like, not that impressive, and then they always win like 50 at least. So I'm going to go 50 even.
I'm going to go with them. They are definitely 51.5. I'm going to go slightly over.
Okay. Yeah,
I think they overperform in the regular season, and when it counts, underperform.
Yeah.
The Wizards, they added Caldwell Pope, whose I guess deal with the Lakers is over. Dinwiddie. They added Aaron Holiday. They added Kuzma. They had some decent players.
Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell. They lost Corey Crispert. Sorry, they got drafted Corey Crispert. They lost Robin Lopez, Ish Smith, Russell Westbrook. All those guys were from the Westbrook trade. I forgot. The Wizards are going to be garbage, right?
I don't know. I kind of like their offseason.
Do you?
Yeah. I think Harrell's good. Harrell was
he's
2 years ago.
Dinwiddie's fine. I don't think he's worth his contract.
I think in the East, I think they're like 39 wins.
You think 39? I go under 39, but the Wizards are at, and they had a good end of this. They're at 33.5.
Now I'm going over. I think they're going to be in the play-in tournament.
Maybe. I don't even know. Why do you think they're going to be playing a tournament?
I do.
No, why?
Why? Beal.
Yeah, why?
Beal's awesome.
Last question. When does Beal play a full season?
He's not that injury prone, is he?
Nah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Beal's too good not to be in the play-in tournament. Fine, going over. That is the entire NBA.
Actually, Beal's pretty damn healthy.
Okay, fine, Jay. Don't swear in the show.
He has 282 game seasons.
Oh, okay. So my locks here are the Knicks over, the Sixers under. I don't remember all our other locks. I should have been writing this stuff down, Jay.
Yeah, definitely signing off on the Knicks over. I feel.
The Spurs over, I'd say, is another lock in my mind.
What about the Lakers?
The Lakers were at, I don't think they're a lock. They're at 52.5. I mean, I think they'll be over, but that's not a lock.
Yeah.
We had, like, reading down, the Nets were at 55. Yeah, it's about right. The Bucks were at 54, Lakers 52, Sixers at 51.5. I feel like that's an under. That's definitely an under because of the Ben Simmons issue. Suns at 51.5, Jazz at 51.5, Golden State at 48.5. The Heat at 48.5, Mavericks 47, Nuggets 47, Hawks 46, Celtics 46, Clippers 44. Probably still feels right. Trailblazers at 43, Bulls at 42. I'd go under. The Knicks at 42 really feel like they're low.
I feel like
low.
the Wolves at 33 is close to a lock for under. Yeah.
You think it's definitely they're not going to win 33 games?
No.
Yeah. I mean, most of these, obviously, these guys obviously bet online. All these places make pretty good odds. Yeah. I think the Spurs, if I have to pick two locks on here, the Knicks over and the Spurs over. And the three locks and the Philly under. Those are my three. If I'm gonna, I would put I'll put $100 down on those three right now, Jay. Make it happen.
Okay. I'm with you over the first two. I think Philly's still got a pretty good team even without Simmons. So I would make my third lock Minnesota.
You think Minnesota is going to be under 33 wins?
Yeah.
I mean, they have Towns, one of the best young players in the league until he gets older, and people stop calling him that. I don't know. I mean, like, they have Towns. There's a lot of talent there.
I don't like it. I don't like anything.
I mean,
that's
Anthony
going on
Edwards should be better. There's something
it.
there.
That's about it. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
they're going to be, you're right, they're going to be bad. But yeah, I think Philly's, the Ben Simmons is going to be a big issue. I just don't see how they get I don't see how they get them many wins with the Ben Simmons issue.
Yeah.
And the Spurs, I just don't see. The Spurs are going to find a way to win 30 games. It's just like,
Yeah.
they're too well coached. And the Knicks are goddamn awesome, and I'll bet on them right now. Do you think is gambling legal in Connecticut?
I think so.
Okay,
Anyway,
make it happen.
thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for the people in the chat. If you want to join us next time, you could go to twitch.tv/crumpledbacon, hit that follow button. You'll get a notification when we go live. I'm going to be doing some video game streams this week. And we'll be doing our comedy show, The Brink of Sanity, sometime soon. We got a lot to talk about for that. And nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email. nyknickspodcast on everything else, Facebook, Instagram. That's our Patreon. It's, I don't know, anything. It's everything, nyknickspodcast. So
Also, if you want an extension in your car warranty, we're going to be randomly calling America 7 times a day to tell them about their car warranty going to expire.
Okay, that was random.
Do you not get those phone calls?
Oh, I do, yeah.
I get those calls all the time. All the time. Your car's extended warranty. Stop calling me, you liars.
I actually recorded one of those calls last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
You're gonna put it on break?
Yeah, I'll put it on Brink. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's just like all the time, like 3 times a day. We wanted to call you about your extended warranty in your car. Just die. I hate you.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon. Season's starting soon.
Goodbye, everybody. yeah.